God answers prayer. Yes, He does. I don't know how long it's going to take, but He does answer prayer. I've been sharing my story how I was diagnosed with DID, dissociative identity disorder, once known as multiple personalities, how because of the trauma of my past, my brain fractured and split into separate parts that held the pain and held the memories. And after 20 years of staying silent, after being healed, I'm finally sharing my story. And see, here's one of the things. One of the things I prayed for a lot was my nightmares. I had massive nightmares. I think it was my subconscious going, "You've been trying to ignore all this and we want you to pay attention." I don't know. They were horrendous nightmares, like full color, full visual, full everything. And I just wanted the nightmares to stop. And I prayed for my nightmares to stop. And I asked people to pray for my nightmares to stop. And I would read scripture before going to bed. I would quote scriptures before going to bed. I prayed and prayed and prayed. And my nightmares continued for a very long time. Sometimes the nightmares were so bad, I would wake up in the middle of the morning, gut-wrenching sobbing. And it was the sobbing that would actually get me up and wake me up. And it was like, God, are you ever going to answer these prayers? Are you ever going to take away this sadness? Are you ever going to take away this terror and this fear that I live in? But I never gave up, and I kept praying that. And also, I started looking at the dreams. Not per se, a lot of them are just your subconscious, you're afraid of things and it just happens. Some of them would actually cue me into actually discussing some things I didn't want to talk about, but they would pop up in the dreams, and so I would share them with my counselor. But here's something that I had my counselor talk to me about, and it was, what is the feeling in the dream? What is the predominant emotion? Because dreams can be everywhere and little bits and pieces of everything all thrown in together. But what is the main feeling? Is it anxiety? Is it fear? Is it sadness? Try to pinpoint what the main feeling is in the dream and go from that. And that's what I started doing, and it actually helped. Now, here's the thing. This is 20 years after the fact that God brought all that healing and all that peace. And at some point, the nightmares disappeared. At some point, the night terrors disappeared. At some point, God answered those prayers. I no longer wake up sobbing. I actually worked the trauma. I faced it with my counselor. I addressed it. And so therefore, it no longer torments me when I'm sleeping. So if you're having nightmares, if you're having traumas, write them down. Talk with somebody about them. Find a counselor. Do the work, because God can answer the prayers, and God can have that terror, that fear, those nightmares go away so they do not haunt you for the rest of your life. I am living proof and example that God does answer prayers, and I am very, very grateful that I can sleep in peace now. It's amazing. Peacefully, I should say. And I do wake up in the morning, and I am living a much happier, healthier, wonderful life. Thanks for listening to my story. There's so much more to tell.